Today I'm going to show you how I made my seahorse. You're going to need watercolor paper, a straw, and a pencil. Don't forget water and your round paintbrush. If you will notice, I have pencil lines behind my seahorse right here. It goes all the way down and around. So it's almost kind of like an S, but then you want to come all the way around into your tail. Now these other lines I added later. So just start with the spine or the back of your seahorse first. Okay, it's hard to do this while holding a camera, but I'm going to try to do this. So I'm going to want to do the head, the back, and then the tail. There we go. And this is the shape I'm going to be starting with. Okay, so I've got my water and I've got my round paintbrush, and I have just taken water to wake up my colors. So I'm going to be using purple. So I added purple to my purple cake, and then pull it over here. I have added yellow. I have woke up my yellow with some water, and I'm going to start putting my yellow over here so I can pull from here so my pigments are all even. When I go to paint, then I can just keep getting more if I need to. I mean, you can go straight from the cake to the paper, but I tend to like being able to pull from my tray. And then clean that off. Tap class. Okay. Do the same with my orange. I'm getting all my paint ready. So, because with watercolor you have to paint fairly quickly because it starts to dry as soon as you apply it to the paper. Then here's my red. So these are the colors I'm going to be using today for the main body. It's going to be purple, red, orange, and yellow. As you can tell on this guy, I used yellow for the belly, green for the main line, and then accented it with purples and blues. Okay. Now I've got my color ready. Let's get our paper ready. Okay, so I have my line ready, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my red, no, I'm going to go with yellow. I'm going to take my yellow, go down the body, and just start to pull from the body this way. I'm not going to go back and forth like this. I'm going to try to slowly pull my paint this way. Okay, so now I've taped down my paper simply because I'm going to be painting one-handed, so it's going to be hard for me to hold the paper down without moving and shifting around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to apply my yellow one-handed while holding my camera in my hand. Just know this is usually done better with two hands. Okay, so my plan is I'm going to start with yellow, and then I'm going to blend out into orange. And I'm using the full belly of my brush to get a wider stroke here. So I start with the point, and then I'm coming down with the belly. And then when I get down to here, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because it's the tail. Remember, this is watercolor. We're not worried about staying inside the lines. And this is an open line, so we're good. Just bear in mind, I am doing this one-handed. So I want to come in, pick up some more yellow. I'm going to make it a little wider here. I'm gonna do me some lines all the way down, kind of following the direction of my seahorse. And I'm gonna end about right here. I'm gonna get me some water, make those lines a little bit more fluid, just water. Pulling my yellow out with water. Normally I would do only a few of these at a time, but I'm going to see if I can expedite this since I'm having to hold the camera too. Okay, then I'm going to take my yellow paint and drop it in here. Give me some more, a little bit more yellow lines in here. And then this is where I'm going to take my straw and blur my lines. Hopefully I can get this thing quick enough for it to work. Okay, and you'll see how my lines have kind of sprayed out. I probably want to go down this direction a little bit more on my next color. So now that I've got my yellow in there, I'm also going to add in, excuse me, some orange. You see how I'm going over the yellow to kind of get it to blend and merge. Using the tip of my brush for a finer line and the full belly of my brush for a thicker line. Okay. I'm going to come in and make some orange lines. And some of these will follow the previous lines that are already there. And then add some water. And drop in a little bit more color from the actual paint well. Or the paint cake, my apologies. So you know what, I've been painting with this, and then when I go to add more color, I pick up from here. That's kind of where I've been going. That's why that puddle's gotten smaller. Oh, I need to be quick because it's going to start to dry on me. More water up here. Okay, and then below. Make sure to take a break if you feel lightheaded. Try not to blow so hard that you get lightheaded. So we've done our yellow, pointing with my straw, my apologies. We've done our yellow and we've done our orange. And we're gonna come in here and we're gonna add some red. So I'm gonna pick up from my water, my mixture, and I'm gonna start adding red in. Oops, my apologies, here we go, red. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to readjust the camera because I'm trying. It's strange because I can't paint looking at the camera. I have to look at the paper to paint. I need like a camera holder to do this. Okay, and then again, we're going to, oops, it's drying on me. Let me get me another puddle of red. Okay, I'm getting me another puddle of red. So I'm picking up here with the water and placing it down here. And then mixing that up to make sure my pigment's all mixed really well. Okay, and then we're going to go back in with some lines. If you have two hands free, I don't recommend typing this one, but I do recommend doing it over paper because when you blow your lines, as you can tell, they can go off the paper. So make sure if you don't have a wipeable table or you're on a fancy tablecloth that you put down some paper, or maybe do this on a different type of surface to where you don't have those issues. It's kind of starting to look like a fire seahorse. All right. I'm not sure if I have enough water on this one, but we're gonna try. Now just add a little bit more water to get those to go a little further. Give me up a little bit more pigment on that one because I want to have a little bit more red right in here. Let's see, more water in this area. Let's see, I think I want to add a little bit more red up here too. Get my water well there. And just a little bit down here. I think. Yeah, let's see if that blows out a little better. There we go. We now have the backing of our seahorse. Ooh, I need to blow this one too. Hold on. I had to get my little guy down here. All right, and there we go, the beginnings of our seahorse. Okay, so as you can see on this one, I'm getting a little hand sanitizer holding it here. That's the line that we initially drew. So now I'm gonna, it looks like there's a line here, but that's actually from the watercolor. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna draw the little bitty face and a little bit of a cheek right there. And then I'm gonna come in and draw the belly and attach it to, see right here where I've attached it to the tail line? So this is what we're gonna draw next. So I wanna see about where I want it. I wanna go down, make me a little bit of a snoot, and then I want to make a little bit of a cheek, so I'm going to curve kind of down and up a little bit, and then from here I'm going to find where a good place for my neckline to be, and then come out from here and do the belly swell. And then come back in and meet up with my tail line. And then for the eye, I'm going to kind of give a little bit of a cheek. I'm going to do a little bit of a different eye on this one than I did the last one. So there's my eye for this one. Okay, and now it's time for the purple. Okay, so now that I'm currently blending and mixing my purple right now, and I'm going to start applying from the nose back. This is where I'm going to try to cover my lines, but still go over my lines. And it's a little dark, so I'm probably going to water that down. But I want it to sort of blend, so I'm still going to go over my line. And so, get some water. Tap class. I'm going to avoid my eye as much as possible. I'm going to give it a little bit of a wide berth there so my water does not blend in to my eye, and I want to go in kind of the direction I want my face shape going for a smoother transition. And then I'm going to follow the body on down. I'm using the full belly of my brush and going over my pencil line. So you saw how dark it was earlier, and I wanted to lighten it up. So what we do is we just add more water to right here. Because if you keep picking pigment up here, it's going to make it darker. That's the reason why it's important to blend or make your colors in a tray or a lid. You can go in to the paint cake, but every time you do, it's going to be darker than what it would. So if you want it lighter, it's best to take your pigment, add it here, and then add water to thin it down like so. See? And then you can spread it out as far as you need to. And here's the wonderful thing. You can dry this out. You can let this sit out. You don't have to clean it up. You can let it sit out. And then when you come back to your paint and this is dry, you just have to add water to it to wake it back up, to pick it back up again, especially if you've blended a new color that you like. And you don't want to have to try to match that same color again, because sometimes it can be hard to get that same color match again. So I'm going to bring her tail a little further down than I did the last one, only because I think I want it to, there we go. And now we have a fire seahorse with a purple belly. I think I am going to add a little bit more orange to that tail, but I'm gonna have to wait for it to dry a little bit. And remember, if you hold your hand on the back of the paper and it feels cold, it's still wet. So if you put your hand on the back of the paper and it's room temperature, then it's dry and you can paint over it again. But if you don't want your colors to blend, you'll need to wait for the color underneath it to dry before you layer over it. So now I've got to figure out what color I want my eye to be. I'm leaning towards green, but I'm going to ask my daughter. But currently this is where we are, and I'm going to have to let it dry for a little bit. But I think it looks great. I'm loving it. Probably going to do a little bit of orange work on the tail. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have let the majority of my painting dry. Still wet in some spots, but it's dry where I need to work on my eye. As you can tell, I've untaped my paper and I went ahead and I blew out the rest of the top of my seahorse so that there wouldn't be like this hard cut line there. And now I've got me some black. And remember, some of these blacks come out more of a dark brown when they dry, so just heads up on that. So I'm going to fill in my eye, and I'm going to leave one small spot white just so I have like some eye reflection. So I'm going to see how well I can do this one-handed. I'm probably going to need to, so I don't smear my lines. I'm going to turn this around real quick and do it this way so I can place my hand. And then I will do my best to, because see, if I would have started painting this before it dried, it would blend in like it did with the colors on the back of the seahorse. That's where I want it to be. I may make that dot a little smaller. Let me see. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, and then once it completely dries, I can add some accent lines too. Alrighty. And there you have it. You can go in with colored pencils once it completely dries, or even like Sharpies or markers, and add details later on if you would like. Or once it completely dries, you can take and maybe add some small green or different colored sea anemone in the background. Pretty much from here, get creative, add what you would like to add. Use different types of like colored pencils or markers to add details if you would like to add details. But remember, wait till it's completely dry. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thanks, bye.